Good afternoon, YouTube. I know it's been a while since I upload anything, but today I have a no guideline fade that I'm going to show you. Lately, I've been adjusting my technique a little bit, and I've been using mostly guards. I used to be more of a detachable blade kind of guy, but I also been trying to find ways to speed up my haircut. But let me just be clear, when I say no guideline, I mean that I'm not going to start with the initial trimmer or balding line. I'm going to start right at the master's close. So it should be easier to fade out that bottom line. If there won't be no bottom line anyway, so it's going to speed up your haircuts by 5-8 minutes. So as you can see, I started off with the babblers closed, and we're just starting that initial section there. But I do apologize, guys. I know I've been quite busy here at work. I also been, again, trying new techniques, so I wanted to master it down before I filmed anything. And also I was waiting to get my new camera, so as you can see, I'm filming in 4K now, so I hope you guys love the content a little bit better, because I am always trying to find ways to release really dope content for you guys. But back to the video, as you can see, I went all the way around. And again, we dropped it to a V in the back. We're not going to worry about that hair at the bottom just yet. First, we're going to focus on the very important part, which is the fade. And that bottom section, we'll later just remove it with the outliners and also the balding shavers. So now we're going to move over and do the lever 100% open. And we're going to go up about anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, depending on your client's head shape. But this is what works for him. So we're just going to go all the way around. And again, at the end, we're flicking out at a 45-degree angle, because we do not want to keep creating lines that are going to be an issue to remove later. So we want the end to be just tapered, so when we go up a number or a level, it's going to fade out right away. There really isn't going to be a need to fade, but anyways, here, focus on the video here. I'm going to do the other side, getting the back nice and even. He does have a trouble spot back there because he has... It's hard to tell, but he has a few ridges back there that was just a little bit difficult to work with. But, I did my best. I will do my best to try to get those lined out and get the fade as clean as possible. But make sure you always have your brush on you. Brush all the hair off, and then we move on to the lever close. We're going to smack that little piece at the bottom. Try to get as much as we can as possible. If you hear those little clickety clacks in the background, my dogs did just wake up from a nap, so... Yep, they're up and moving. But here in the video, you're gonna see me move the lever as you just did. I'm gonna go back and forth with the half lever, the quarter level, and the close. We're just gonna work those lines out. Some people you can run through the haircut a lot faster, but we tend to see a lot of videos and they do cut out the imperfections. So don't be discouraged. Take your time. Take your time and work those lines out. Yeah, but I hope you guys are doing well. We're having a lot of rain out here in the Chicago area. I live actually in Hammond, Indiana, but it's right around Chicago, so I'm going to go ahead and say Chicago land. But in the video, again, you see me, we're working in sections. Because I'm filming, I normally don't really cut like this, but I'm going to do one section at a time, because otherwise it just becomes a hassle to move the camera from left and right all the time. But you're going to see me work on the right side, then the back section, then I'm gonna go back to the left section, and then once I feel like I've done a good job, we're gonna go back and go ahead and touch up any areas that we see. I welcome any new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. Like always, I appreciate you guys watching, liking the video if you can. Drop a comment if you have any recommendations. Any feedback at all would be much appreciated. And back to the video again, we're working those little lines out, and it's hard to tell, but he has a few dips in the back there. So I'm gonna be working there for a bit longer. We're gonna focus our time a little bit longer there, just to get the best results possible. And I did film this Saturday. He was my last haircut. So this is during my regular work week. So I didn't want to take too much of his time either, but I would say this whole service took around an hour. So I did his haircut, his eyebrows, and his beard. Not so much a beard, but a stubble that we just nicely cleaned up and lined up. You're gonna see that throughout this video. But let's just keep doing this fade right here. Shout out to Tomb45 for those power clips. I love them, very convenient. I got tired of having just wires everywhere and connecting all the time. So I recommend if you have the extra cash. They are a bit expensive, those little power clips, but they are more so for convenience, especially if you're a busy barber. I would highly recommend these just to save you some stress. Today I did make a longer video than I usually make. I usually try to keep it under 20 minutes, but today I did a little something different. If you guys prefer to see shorter videos or longer videos, please let me know. But I just feel like I can fit more information in longer videos. That's why I did this. But back to the video. As you can see, I slapped on the 1.5 guard, and we're gonna go and shoot out at a 45-degree angle, about 1.5 inches. And again, that number varies on your client's head shape, so please don't, take what I tell you and try to do that on everybody, because it probably will not work. So we're gonna go ahead and we went a little higher right there in the front area. Then we're gonna do take it down a little, a smaller portion in the back. So we're flicking out, trying to get as much of this bulk out as possible. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm using the bevelers with the closed lever here. And make sure you keep that nice V shape that we're going for. So make sure you flick out right at the end. Try not to curb. Use the ends of the blade. And now we're going to do the right side. So again, we're just using the ends right there, right in the side. I feel like sometimes when you use the whole blade, it just kind of clogs it up. Slows down the blade, especially as you can see, he has very thick hair. So sometimes it does work better just to use the ends of the blades. So again, you see me trying to get as much of that bulk out as possible. I really need some decor in the background. As you can see, I just have a chair, my sofa. I cut out of my garage. I actually built a studio in my garage. So this is where I cut. If you want to see videos of my studio, go ahead and check out my other videos. But now back to the video. We open our we open our lever out, and then we're flicking more of that bulk out at the top. And I guess, again, as you can see, we're doing I guess technically this would be a mid fade, guys, a mid high fade. Not really too sure what to call it, but we're just trying to, he likes it higher and sides. That's what we're shooting for. And now you see me with the 0.5 guard or the half guard, whatever term you like to use. And we're just trying to get that bottom line out, trying to get out as much as possible. If it doesn't seem to work, don't waste your time stroking there. We're gonna go back after we finish with our guard, and we're gonna take off the guard and we're gonna flick the rest of that out. But try to do the most work with whatever tool you have in your hand, whatever guard you have, and just try to do as much with it as you possibly can, just to save you some time as well. You don't want to always go back and forth, flipping over to your tools and flipping guards. No, just go around the head, do as much as you can with whatever tool you have available. And you're gonna see some spots that are kind of, if you're OCD like me, sometimes they do bother me. But for the most part, I'm trying to train myself to use whatever equipment I have in hand, just to make myself more efficient. So again, you see here, I'm flicking out, and you can see those ridges are starting to become more noticeable. Some wrinkles in the back of his head. So again, I went and took the half guard off, and then we're gonna flick out, and just, again, it doesn't seem like I'm doing it too gentle, because it is the video is speed up, I'm sorry. But I sped up the video, but I'm really trying to be super careful. And also you see me using my brush more, because I want to see my canvas. I want to see my canvas. I want to see what I'm doing. I want to see what I did and what I should be doing next to get that fade really clean. Switching to the back view, we're doing the left side. And again, you can see me touching up with the bevelers closed. And I might be going back and forth, just, again, getting those lines out. Being very, very careful not to create any more lines or hiring the fade. So we're gonna be very careful there. Very, very careful. And you can see the top is still a little bulky, but we'll deal with that later. Now we'll grab our babless trimmers and we're gonna get that bottom line out. I'm sorry, the bottom bulk. And as we reach over to the fade, we're actually flicking out because we do not want to create any lines. But yes, now we're removing that bottom hair, getting it as short as possible because our next step will be to use our shavers to bald it out. So go ahead and take your time, brush, and cut. Make sure it's all even. Make sure you don't have any, long hairs, random long hairs. No, we want to be nice and thorough. Nice and thorough. So create that line there. Get behind the ears. Make sure you get behind the ears because I've seen it before where barbers leave hair behind the ears and customers don't like that. They don't want to go home and have to deal with that hair themselves. They pay good money for these haircuts, so make sure you get your client nice and right. Because believe it or not, something like that can discourage them and they're gonna not wanna come back to you. So just be very thorough. So we're using our shavers here. We're balding out, but at the same time, keep in mind, we always wanna be flicking 45 degrees angles at the end there, just to avoid creating any lines, like I said before. Us barbers, we have to keep in mind that we don't just give out a haircut. We're not in the business really of haircuts, but really we are in the business of selling confidence. And I feel this is an important pillar that's gonna help your career just blossom to success. So keep that in mind. We're giving our people, our clients, confidence, not just a haircut. I want you barbers to challenge yourself and start to speak to your clients more respectfully, but also push them. A lot of our clients do have dreams. They want to pursue things, and I want you to push them, motivate them, inspire them to do something, inspire them to become better. Because some people really do need that. A lot of us don't really have that voice or that person to tell us, to push forward and don't think about what other people think. No, a lot of us need to find out ourselves, or, now we have YouTube videos, but a lot of people do need that. And I want you to challenge yourself to push your clients to do their best. And again, give them confidence. Give them confidence, guys. So back to the video here, guys. As you can see, I'm using the clipper over comb method, and I am using a flat top comb. And if you do not know how to do this technique, I recommend you go out, look up a YouTube video, and learn it ASAP, because one is gonna give you more freedom to freestyle your haircut, if that makes any sense. You're gonna be more educated to tailor the haircut better for your client's physical features, but also it's gonna speed up your haircuts by so much. As you can see what I'm doing here, I have the clipper right on the client's scalp, and this is equivalent to using a 1 guard. So instead of, having to go back and slap the 1 guard, you can just do this with the comb. But if you learn how to master this technique, 100%, you can actually do an entire fade, an entire service just with the comb and a clipper. If you don't believe me, go out there. There's people out there that are just incredibly talented and do this all the time, especially out there in the UK. But back to the videos, make sure I'm getting the water nice and damp. We're gonna get ready to use our shears to trim it. I will be doing a mixture of clipper over comb, and also just a traditional, grabbing the hair with my fingers and trimming it. Not really sure the proper term for that, but you guys know what I mean. This right here. And, I'm using a smaller comb here. I believe it's called the taper comb. This is just to make sure you grip and grab every individual hair strand as we're cutting. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the entire hair here. Shout out to Knife and Flag for this cool apron. If you guys, I used to be one of those where I didn't want to wear an apron just because the barber smocks. Just barber smocks are really not that great looking. They're really not, fitting to your body. So I prefer aprons, guys. To each their own. But if you want a solid apron, go check out Knife and Flag. Theirs are awesome, super high quality, and really comfortable, I should say. Back to the video. I'm using a 7-inch shear, cutting using the shear over comb method. Again, his hair is just super straight, so we were able to do that. Now, you cannot get away with doing this with people who have much thinner hair, but his was, this is much easier than doing the traditional method of cutting the top. Get everything nice and even. I'm doing the back here. And next up, we're actually gonna go and do the lineup, clean up his forehead, and straight into our trimmers. We're not gonna dig into it deep and do a super sharp lining. As you can tell, he has that middle section that just parts naturally. Not everyone needs a super sharp lineup. In this case, his haircut will look much better with just keeping everything nice and natural and just doing a quick cleanup. We're gonna move to our razor. I didn't show the part, but I did put some shaving gel from Elegance, which I believe now they're called level 3. I have yet to try level 3 products, but are they the same as Elegance? I don't know. Maybe I'll do a review on it later. I'm gonna show you how to do a quick eyebrow cleanup, and nothing too crazy. We're not gonna arch them. We're just gonna quickly clean up the peach fuzz and those excess hairs that we do not want. Be very careful. I've been doing this for years, so I have a bit of experience, but if it's the first time doing it, just try to keep them natural. Stretch up the eyebrow when you're doing the bottom portion. Be very, very careful with the eyelid, because you do not want to cut them. You do not want to cut them in that area. But again, you can see me, I'm doing the lineup, just very carefully getting those excess hairs. Nothing too crazy, nothing too, crispy. We're just getting it nice and cleaned up, giving it that fresh haircut feel. Next, we're doing the right eyebrow. And again, we're just keeping that natural hairline. Keeping it nice and clean. Get that middle part. You can see you stop right where the nose ridge ends. And once we're finished with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the stubble beard. And we're gonna do this all with the babbleless open. Sometimes we do have thicker hair around the mustache and chin area, just because we tend to develop that earlier in our teenage years, so that just progresses a lot faster. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we want to play with the lever, maybe go lower in those areas just to match the same shade as the rest of the facial hair. But when we're doing the chin and the mustache, any area around the mouth, we want to be super careful, because we have sensitive skin there. We have our lips there, which you can easily clip with the clippers if we're not paying attention. So, you see me in this video, just be very careful, be super thorough before we start the lineup. Get everything nice and even, get under the chin, get the jawline, get everything. Again, we want a clean canvas to work on before we start doing our lining or our cleanup, whatever you prefer to call it. In the mustache, I believe I gave him a half lever open on the babbleless. So again, just to get everything, somewhat even. I actually prefer when it's sometimes the mustache is a little darker. It just gives it more definition too when we're doing the stubbled look. So we're gonna keep that just a little darker than what the rest looks like. But once we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and fade out the line there. We're doing a reverse taper, if you will, just to make it all look more of a complete package than just a separated beard, which you never want to leave your client, with a line right there in the ear, unless they request it. But it looks a lot cleaner, especially if they have a bald fade, if you fade out that line there. And take your time. Take your time, guys. And last but not least, we're gonna hit it with the trimmers just to get that little extra piece there. But that looks about right. Let's move on to the right side. We're gonna just go ahead and do it with the liners. This side had a lot less work to do, so we're just gonna quickly run through it. Now we grab our liners and we're gonna start the shape of the beard. So we wanna get all that extra fuzz out, and at the bottom we're gonna do about mid-neck. Not so much the jawline or keeping that full, beard look, but we're gonna go about mid-neck just to give it more of just a clean stubble look. So first I make my initial line with my green trimmer shear, which are sharper than my silver ones. I always have one pair of sharp trimmers and then one that are not so much sharp, just because I like to use these silver ones here to bald out. And I like to keep, one thing about trimmers, if you use them all the time to scrape off all that hair, they're not built like clippers where they're gonna stay sharp for a longer period of time. Like, no, these trimmers, they dull out a lot faster. So again, you wanna have a separate pair to remove hair and one to line up, which is what I have here. You don't have to do this, but I just highly recommend doing this. We're gonna go ahead and do the other side, making sure everything's nice and even, super crisp. And again, we're gonna go ahead and remove that with our silver outliners, just so we avoid any irritation and any cutting of the skin. But after we finish this, we're gonna jump to the shavers and get rid of all that hair there. Be careful around the Adam's apple. That's very, very sensitive spot if you don't know already. Don't apply that much pressure. If you have to, even stretch out that piece. But in his case, it wasn't as sensitive as other clients. Once you get that nice and even, nice and thorough, make sure all that hair is off. Go ahead and move to your shavers. Now remove all that hair out. At this point, I know some people prefer to use a razor, but I do the shaver on my regular haircut and beard services, and I use the razor on my other service, which happens to be a steam shave service. If you guys want to see that, go ahead and drop a comment. I'll be more than happy to do a video on that. But in this case, yes, we're doing a quick shave with the shavers. Nice and even. The only difference is that when you use a razor, you do remove a dead skin layer, so you do get a closer cut. So this one, again, it's still gonna provide that clean look, but it's gonna last maybe, 1 or 2 days less than that of when you do a razor. Razor obviously does last longer. But this also, again, creates a super clean, beard, especially for those that are easily irritated. Sometimes a shaver works better, or sometimes it could go against some people's skin and they break out. So just be very careful. You always want to extend your knowledge on techniques just so you know what to do in certain situations. But now back to the video. So we're gonna do the lineup now. So here's the fun part. I already applied the shaving gel. So now we just grab our razor and use the very end of the blade to create that nice round C cup, as they call it. But take your time. You don't have to get it right in one stroke, which is what a lot of us believe because we see these perfect videos, which again, when you see these barbers work in person, they actually do more work than you see. But focus on the video. Just go ahead and do little strokes and grab a comb so you can brush off the loose hair. Don't keep it on there. You want to have your canvas clean at all times so you see what you're doing. You see what you should do next. The mustache we're stretching out right there. Doing the underhand grip. Make sure when you get right inside the nostril to kind of push it aside, just like that, so you can get those little hairs in there. There you go, nice. That's about nice for that side. Get the little hairs right there. And now we're gonna do the right side, his left side. And I didn't get the best angle here, but you guys pretty much get what I'm doing. Just getting it nice and round. Taking your time, doing little by little. Don't try to get everything in one stroke. And always, after every stroke, make sure you step back and see if everything is even. Make sure the beard is nice and even on both sides. Brush off any loose hair. and get the mustache. Again, using the very tip of the blade, but be careful not to cut his nose or anything. You know, that's a very sensitive area, so be very careful. Again, stretch the nose as much as you need to. And I highly recommend gloves too. It just makes it comfortable on both ends. You know, when we're doing areas like that, you don't want to have your exposed finger in their nose or lip, so recommend gloves. But here's the final product. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like the video. If you like the video, share it to your buddies. If you're a new person watching, make sure to subscribe for more content. I truly hope you guys come back for my next video. So thanks again. I'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned.